Good morning, Delaware. We are excited to be with you on this Friday morning and
with sunshine.
And we touched 60 degrees this week.
We did. You know, I haven't worn a coat for a couple days.
What? That is a big deal. That's a big deal. We have a full studio for you this morning. We've got Kellen Freeman, our Maker Studio supervisor over there on the blue mic with Molly. Hello, hello.
Hello.
Hello. And then we also have two friends from Perry ProTech. We have Kayla Metzger and David Dutton joining us this morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. And the reason why we are so full with energy and excitement and Maker Studio-ness this morning is because we've got a big announcement coming for you.
Big announcement.
I think we could say it now and then talk about it the second half of the show. Why don't we go ahead and say it now?
I think you should do that.
Kellen, do us the honors, please.
So, with the passing of the levy last March, the library has already begun expanding their hours, and phase 2 of that project is now coming close to fruition, which was the hiring of extra staff to be able to expand the Maker Studio's hours.
Mm-hmm.
So, for the first time in the almost 6.5 years we've been doing the Maker Studio, the library hours and the Maker Studio hours will be the same.
Whee! This is massive. We're so excited. We know the community is excited. Kellen, you are pulling it all together today.
Mm-hmm.
I know I said I was crumbling. You said you were also crumbling because you've been training 9 new people to join the Maker Studio. And you're going to want to stay tuned, listeners, because we are going to talk all about all the great things coming with that in the second half of the show. So that's your tease.
Stay tuned. Fantastic tease.
Yes. But we also are going to do the same thing that we do every week, which is not try and take over the world. Pinky and Brain reference there.
I mean, we might.
Did you know that?
Yes.
But we are going to talk about books. So, Molly, why don't we go ahead and do that?
Okay. I did that thing again where I saw some people had read a book, know nothing about it, and I start reading a book. So I just finished a book called I Who Have Never Known Men. And every now and again, I maybe should read a little bit about what's coming, but I love the book anyway. So this book starts deep underground, and it's a group of about 40 women who are locked in a cage. They're not allowed to touch each other. There are guards that if they try to touch each other or do anything that is not supposed to happen, a whip comes in and stops them. They don't know why they're there. They don't think they're on Earth, but they're not sure why. And they have one person in the cage, one little girl, it's all women, who doesn't know life before this cage. So she doesn't have any idea of what the outside world is. And I'm like, what? Did I get into a cult book? What am I in? And then something happens. Suddenly these alarms start going off just as one of the prison guards is starting to unlock the cage to give them their food to make dinner. And the cage is unlocked and the guards disappear. And
like poof, disappear?
Like poof, nobody knows what happened. Nobody knows how they could disappear that quickly without any trace. They're just gone. So then the women kind of carefully let themselves out of the cage, come up the stairs, and there's nothing. It's a cabin. There's no cooking. Like, clearly the guards didn't live there. There are some lockers, like it's for work, but there's very little in them. And the women kind of go out and they start trying to figure out how to survive. They start walking around on the ground and they start finding other cabins. And as it starts, none of those cages were unlocked as the alarm went off. And they're starting to realize the impact of living on this ground by themselves. It's weirdly not as depressing as it sounds. I know it sounds horribly depressing because this girl's the one telling the story, the girl who never knew the world before. And it's sort of her encountering this world, and she really doesn't have the emotions of the world because this is just what I've known. You know, we made our own clothes and we sewed them with our own hair because that's what we had as thread. You know, that's just how you survive. This is fascinating. It's a relatively short, read or listen. It was only about 6 hours. It is really well written. The author of this is Jacqueline Hardman, and it was translated by Roz Schwartz. And you were going to ask me what language it was translated in, and I have no idea. Really interesting. If you like a good philosophical book, if you like a book that's going to make you think, this one has hopefully no reality to it, but it really does make you think twice. So I Who Have Never Known Men, if you want something that's just going to kind of throw you off a bit, y'all, this one, I've really got to start reading some of these descriptions before I start the
so
book.
You know what you're getting
I'm
into.
At least prepared, because
right.
I was like, what did I just start?
The original language is French.
It's
so
French.
If you are a fluent French speaker, you can look up, I'm not even going to try and say it.
They do great philosophy. So French books do tend to be pretty good philosophical reads. So if you like a good philosophical read or a good, sci-fi, this one fits both those bills.
That sounds really intriguing. But I feel like you need to be in the right mindset. Like you said, you need to know what you're stepping into.
You need to know, you never know. I probably wouldn't start it this week. But last week, I think I was ready, and I was ready to enjoy it. Because I've read some others that I'm like, that was a mistake. So.
We all get there. Kellen, have you had time to read anything at all amidst all of your busy work lately?
Surprisingly, yes.
That's wonderful.
So over the last few months, I've been going through the Old Man's War series by John Scalzi.
I love Scalzi.
Yeah, becoming my favorite author, Ohio native.
I did not know that. Yeah. No.
So the first book, the back blurb on it begins, John Perry did two things on his 75th birthday. First, he visited his wife's grave. Then he joined the army. So the whole premise
75th.
is 75th. Yep. The whole premise is that humanity has gone to the stars and has begun colonizing other worlds that some of the 600 other alien races that also want to colonize those worlds are competing for.
Uh-oh.
And so Earth has been the breeding ground for the military drafting enlistment, and they don't want young people. They want people with lived experience and life experience. So when you join, you get a brand new body. It's all scientifically enhanced. You get green skin so you can photosynthesize in case you can't get food. And
fun.
All these other fun things. And then he goes off to war and doesn't really know what to expect. Each book is kind of very different in the series, sometimes completely different protagonists from book to book.
That's nice sometimes, yeah.
The fourth book tells the story of the third book, but from somebody else's perspective, which is really an interesting way of doing it. The fifth book is a whole series of shorts kind of assembled into one big anthology series. And it's a very interesting approach.
Scalzi tends to, I have not read this series, he tends to put a little bit of humor. Do you feel that
Yes,
in this
absolutely.
series as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's some really clever writing, some very funny bits, even for the subject matter at hand.
So if you're not like a deep, heavy sci-fi reader, but you want to try, I feel like he's a really good introductory author.
Very good.
Yeah.
He's really cranking these out, too, because I saw The Old Man's War, the first in the series, was published in 2017, and we're already on 7.
Yep.
That is,
And he's publishing other books in between.
Right.
Yeah.
Crazy. This sounds really good. So that's like Molly's was sci-fi light, yours is sci-fi heavy, and then we're going to get over here to David. Is yours sci-fi?
It actually is sci-fi.
Oh,
Yes!
Yeah.
I feel like
That's
this
a
is
tricky-
my
got a
week.
theme.
Okay. And I don't
Turkey.
know. I've never actually explained this book to anyone. So usually if people know it or don't, it's a Brandon Sanderson book, Oathbringer.
I know
I
Brandon
love Brandon
Sanderson, but I
Sanderson.
don't know Oathbringer. Yeah.
So it's part of a series, and apparently there's 10 books in the series, and I may get it wrong, but he has 5 of them that are out so far. And so it's the third in that, and it's about 50 hours for this book on audiobook.
Goodness.
I love that. You are committed when you do a 50-hour audio.
Well, and this is the third time I'm going through it. So I love him. I feel like he does such a good job telling a story. So it's a saga and it's this journey, and I feel that the characters you can feel the way they feel. He really gets you sympathetic. There's a lot of nuance and explanation of war and conflict, and these characters are having to deal with their past as they're fighting evil, and how do you be vulnerable and all. It's just plus it's a long journey, so I really like it.
Epic. So you are on Oathbringer,
Yes.
which is third in a series of 5 of the Way of the Kings. Is that what
I
they?
think it's Stormlight Archive.
Okay.
Is what he calls it.
So it's like
the series.
sometimes that first book in the series is like what we call the whole series, and sometimes it's something completely different.
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like we really did hit multiple genres within the sci-fi genre today. This is really impressive. Nicole, are you going to carry us through?
I am. This is insanity. This is a different kind of sci-fi. So the book that I have for you today is an Audible original. I'm sorry, I try not to bring that to you very often. It is called Dragon Day, and it is by Bob Prohl. And it is about an 8-hour audiobook. And see, we also talked a little bit about when our friends got here first, like loving and hating books. And I will openly say, like, I did not enjoy this. I did not enjoy this.
Do you normally consider yourself a sci-fi reader?
Here's where the problem is. I won't answer the sci-fi question because I can get into it. And that's actually what probably was my gateway to pleasure reading in the first place. But
love that.
What I don't like about Dragon Day is, like I said, it's an Audible original. It is the story of we're in a, I don't know, current kind of land, you know, where we are today. But dragons have always been living underneath us, of course. Hibernating more so, and on this one day they awaken, and they come up from the rubble, from the undergrounds, from the depths, and everybody just has to figure out life with dragons now. And so it's a little apocalyptic, it's a little doomsday-y, it's a little like the beginning of the end of the beginning of the world. And the story is told by one person collecting interviews of like where they were and what happened on that day. This is a newish genre in the world of audiobooks. It is called a graphic audiobook, which means it's multicast recording. So everybody's voice is a different voice. If I'm talking to David and Kayla and Kellen, you all have your own voices, and you are actually played by different people, not one person playing multiple characters. But it also adds many, many, many layers of sound effects. So when they talk about the dragons walking around, you're going to hear the crunching of their feet. And when they talk about them breathing near you, you're going to hear the breath. And when they talk about this particular interview was recorded on this device, you're going to have the voice distortion of the recording from that device.
It's almost like listening to a stage play.
It's even more so. It's like if, you know, you just took an audio recording of something you were watching on Netflix and you just listened to it in your car. You know, that's kind of what you're getting there. But of course, because it's storytelling, they aren't including visuals. They're using audio as the visual. So if that makes sense. I don't like it. That's my.
Is it the story or is it the audio and the?
I'm distracted. I'm distracted by all of the extra stuff. When I listen to audiobooks, I'm listening in my car, so I'm already doing other things anyway. I'm not sitting on the couch and knitting. I'm not doing dishes or anything.
You were looking at me. I am.
Other things like that. I am in my car. I already have lots of other things happening around me, so I'm missing things constantly. I'm also a mom of 2. I'm overstimulated, so it's too much. It's actually, I don't want it. And the funny thing is I bounced from this to a completely different audiobook that I'll talk about next week. And going to that other audiobook, I was like, oh gosh, this is what audiobooks should sound like.
This is why you shouldn't give up on audiobooks too, though, because it's about finding the right
reader
for you, the right format.
Yeah, absolutely. But Dragon Day, I mean, I will say it is a cool concept. If you have never heard of the graphic audio format, and you are an Audible subscriber, give it a try. Like I said, it's on Audible, so you're not even going to get it at the library. So don't worry about it. That was like such a throwaway review for me just to be like, I hated it.
I kind of like you hated on something on Audible that they won't sell to the libraries because they're mean.
There we go.
I kind of love that you did that.
So it's okay. Yeah, it's putting it to the man. All right. Well, with that, we're going to wrap up our book talk. We're going to come back on the other half of the show, and we're going to talk about our big announcement with our Maker Studio and their expanded hours and some new equipment that's going to be in the space. Stay tuned.
No, off the shelf. I'm getting ahead of myself. Delaware City Digest is coming up next. Did you know that, Nicole?
I did know that.
Yeah,
and,
thank God you are here now, though.
We're getting the crowd warmed up. That's all
that.
good.
Yeah.
back to the beautiful downtown Delaware branch of the Delaware County District Library.
That's it.
There we go.
That's where I was going. Thank you.
Well, we are back. We are happy to be here this morning because we have a big announcement for you. If you didn't hear it whenever we first popped in this morning at 9 o'clock, you can always tune in right at 9. We gave a big announcement. Kellen, why don't you go ahead and say that one more time?
So starting the official part that I didn't say,
Yes, that's right.
On Sunday, March 1st, the Maker Studio will be expanding their hours to match the library's hours for the first time in our existence.
And that is Kellen Freeman, our Maker Studio supervisor, who has been working hard. This has been a passion project of yours since 2019.
Yep.
The Maker Studio started over in the Willis Education Center, and we, had a lot of people, maybe a little people who loved a lot of things about the library, but they really loved maker spaces. Why don't you give us a highlight of what is a maker space? What is the Maker Studio?
So for lack of a better definition, we provide you the tools, the software, the know-how to help you come and make stuff. Mm-hmm. So we have 3D printers, laser cutters, wide format printers, sewing machines, a whole bunch of different kinds of high and low tech, and we teach you how to operate them and make your projects, whatever that may be. Mm-hmm. We'll bounce ideas. We'll work with you to kind of come up with what you need to do, kind of steer you in the right direction if there's a better way to do it. Mm-hmm. And we've been doing that for,
Yeah, it's really been a beautiful journey. We started, like I said, over in the Willis Education Center. We had our space donated to us by Strengthening Families and United Way of Delaware County, and we're eternally grateful to them for getting it started. And then this little thing called COVID happened. We had to get our stuff out of the schools, brought it over into the Delaware Library in downtown Delaware, and then we were like, this kind of works. And so then from there, we could even kind of expand it a little bit more.
Yeah, for a little while, the Maker Studio was my basement.
Mm-hmm. And, right.
And then after we started to come back to the library, we had reduced the number of computers in the computer room. And so they were only using about half the space. And so I squatted in the back half of the room and kind of called dibs. And eventually we put a wall up. We made it more official. We expanded hours and staffing. In 2023, when the Liberty branch opened, we had a second location opened with the help of our friends who donated a bunch of the money to buy the equipment and get us started up there. And now we'll be a department of 13 people to cover both spaces, all the hours that the library are open.
Amazing.
And as we continue to talk about growth with this expansion, again, beginning Sunday, March 1st, all of the Maker Studio hours were matched the Delaware County District Library hours. We also have some new equipment. And so that's why our friends David and Kayla are here with us today. David, why don't you give us a highlight of the pieces of equipment that are coming to the Maker Studio and why they're so special?
Yeah, so it's really exciting, and I think that we could go for hours into the weeds of like the details of what they are, but really it's software and then some printing presses and then some finishing equipment, and then in addition to the wide format. So when you think about the app, why it's so special, the library had always been able to do stickers and decals and banners,
right?
But now you can produce business cards, postcards, memorial cards. You can do invites, thank you cards, flyers, even magazines and smaller books.
Mm-hmm.
All things we've been asked for years and just have never had a way to provide.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a great point that you've made, Kellen, is that like why are we expanding these hours? Why are we adding these equipment to it? And it's because the public has asked for it loudly. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
When your team is so excellent and the equipment that you have is professional grade.
Yeah.
And so you're going to be able to get, in many times, better quality than if you were going to send something to, pay for online somewhere. The other thing is that you expanded your ability to print onto objects. Mm-hmm. So the Mamaki, you now can print on almost anything.
Right.
Yes.
Phone cases, golf balls. The mug I'm drinking out of was printed on a Mamaki.
Oh.
My favorite gift I've ever given was a toilet seat that I printed on. So
Are you kidding?
Yeah. It's
Kellen, I need a toilet seat.
Bring me a toilet seat.
Bring you a toilet seat.
ornaments, awards, it's almost endless.
We did a lot of pre-stretched canvases.
Yes.
Right around the holidays.
Oh, yeah.
People printed photos and everything on those as gifts.
When it's so the ability to personalize in a single piece, so to be able to give an ornament that's incredibly high quality, that has your friends that are just getting married, right? So it's like, hey, this is your first ornament.
Yeah.
To be able to give that to them is
Right.
such a special gift. But yeah, the ability is only limited by your imagination as far as what you can do. And I know there's going to be some standard products that you can come in and make, and then there's going to be projects. But one of the things that makes it really unique is that the knowledge and training that your team has, Kellen, is able to really, like what you had said, is best practices, to be able to work with the patrons and be able to help them actually produce it, rather than spend 4 weeks trying to figure out what's the best way to produce it.
And Kellen, I think this is for you. If I have a project I want to do, but maybe I'm a little intimidated by this, how do I get started with the Maker Studio? How should I approach that?
So we have an email address, makerstudio@delawarelibrary.org. You can email us anytime. We will answer questions. We have people send us products they find online, say, hey, can you laser engrave this? And we'll look at it and give you our best estimation from a picture alone, and answer questions about what kind of materials they need to bring, what files you need. And you can call us as well. We'll answer all of those. And then when you're ready, you can make a reservation for the equipment. That can be done from the library's website. Under the Visit tab is a link for the Reserve Maker Studio equipment, and that will give you all of the equipment that's available to reserve for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, and I think with with this announcement today, you said your reservations go 2 weeks out.
Yep.
So if someone pops on today, will they see those pieces
today.
of equipment? Yep.
Yeah.
At some point
It is.
today, Friday, February
Please
20th.
be patient if you pop on right now and it's not there.
It is not super easy with our software, just flip a switch. So
Right,
I will
right.
be working throughout the day to get it all switched over and hours expanded and listed.
And this is significant for Delaware County District Library because it's really unique to libraries in Ohio. Kayla, do you want to talk a little bit about that? About do other library makerspaces have things like this?
Yeah. So to our knowledge, Delaware Library is the first in Ohio to have some of the specific equipment. And like David was saying, to have that resource of going to your local library and getting to make these gifts or things for work. We've done things for work events to give as like a door gift or a prize. So to be able to walk in and have that resource specifically at Delaware Library is a really cool thing.
Yeah, and just to clarify, we do have the two studios. We have one in downtown Delaware and one at the Liberty branch, and they have different equipment at each of them. So what are we going to find at the Delaware Library, Kellen?
Delaware is getting the digital printing press and the cutting unit that goes with it.
So that's the one that's great for like invitations, cards that
cards,
have
brochures.
bleeds, if you speak that kind of language.
Yeah, paper products out of large sheets of cardstock. We've been stocking 13 by 19-inch sheets of cardstock, and you can set up your design with multiples across the page, and then it goes into the cutting unit to cut them all into the individual ones.
So cool.
So you can get the 4 to 8 invitations, depending on the size. You get 24 business cards kind of per sheet, and then they all just pop out together as one ready-to-go piece at the end of it.
Yeah. And then which one is making its way to the Liberty branch?
That will be the UV flatbed printer.
Oh, and talk about the dimensions for that. You're not going to be able to, a toilet seat may work, David, but maybe not necessarily
My new favorite.
like your child's baseball bat. That might be a
Correct.
little bit too long.
Yeah, so the maximum size for that printer is 16.5 by 24, and then an object up to 6 inches deep can go into it.
So it looks like you said, a flatbed. It looks like a little flatbed. And what actually is happening on that? Could our friends at Perry ProTech say what's actually happening when you put that object down?
So the UV printer is basically the ink is sensitive to UV light, and so it is a inkjet print head that just basically sprays the ink in a very specific spot, and it has a light that's attached to the print head. And so as soon as it sprays it, the light flashes and it cures and dries it instantly.
Right away.
And so there are some limitations on curved objects and rounded and whatnot, but really, as long as it's not a mirror, you can print on it. We've printed on all kinds of different things.
Nice.
So it's it feels kind of magical when you see it done, you know, and the quality of like the canvas is super.
Yeah.
high.
We've been describing it to people when they would ask is if you're familiar with our laser cutter, it's the physical technology of that with the print head from the wide format printer.
There you go.
So we've had a lot of people over the years who have come in to engrave water bottles or something with their company's logo, and it just is too colorful to really kind of reduce down to a simple one color design. But now that could go into the UV printer and print that color design onto it.
I think that our staff I know our staff are excited. I know our public is excited. I'm so happy to have this really amazing crew here with us today to make this grand announcement. Check out www.delawarelibrary.org and go to the Maker Studio page. See the things that you are going to be able to reserve here within the next few hours. And when we'll have our grand opening on Sunday, March 1st. So thank you for joining us, Kellen.
Of course.
And Kayla and David, thank you for coming all this way from Perry ProTech. We appreciate all of your help to get everything set up in our libraries and letting us know how special this is for us to have this equipment. So, Molly, a pleasure.
Nicole, a pleasure back at you.
And Mark, we will see you again. We'll do it all over next week with Off the Shelf with Delaware County District Library.
We'll see you in the stacks.
We'll see you in the stacks.